You've been exposed to programming, in essence, hypnotized.
If it all vanishes, nature doesn't care. If you vanish, which begs the question, the only important question, do you?
I want you to ask yourself what it would be like if you had this ability to hypnotize.
Unless you're talking about running it into the very ground.
If you're in business, maybe you'll be able to do better.
Save yourselves, and through that, you may save Western civilization itself.
I'm not going to hypnotize you to make you hand over your wallets and money to me.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, Steph, it's Joe here. Listen, I know it was me who suggested that maybe you try a little hypnotism for the road show and stuff, but, well, on reflection, I think maybe we should just drop the idea. I mean, I still think your creepy stare into the camera at the end of your videos is great, but now I realize that the transformation of a guy with a creepy stare into a professional hypnotist probably requires a lot more work. I'm saying this because, well, I saw your show when you tried to influence the people of Austria on which way to vote in their election, and, well, it didn't really work out, did it? Of course, typical you, comparing immigrant Muslims to a virus in the Austrian drinking water, didn't exactly sway the more liberal voters, did it? Then you tried to do the same with the Dutch election, but Steph, Geert Wilders, are you kidding? Hitler's poster boy? And of course, more recently, the French election. Let's be honest, Steph, you really failed miserably on that one, didn't you? And let's face it, Steph, if you can't get a bunch of frogs in a small country like France to vote the way you want them to, how the fuck are you gonna fucking save the world? So let's forget all that hypnosis shit. Now, on the bright side, I saw you sing that French song the other day. At least I think it was French. I mean, the only words I know are like Wiedersehen and stuff like that. But I gotta say, it was pretty good. I think... Oh, hold on. My wife's interrupting me here. What?
Steph was doing it in Latin.
Steph was singing in Manhattan?
No, he was singing in Latin.
What the fu... Oh, it was Latin. Oh, I thought it was French. Oh, whatever. Anyways, to get to the point of this call, I may have some good news for you, but you'll have to bear with me on this one, Steph. Bear with me. Now, the chairman of the Canadian Opera Company, who also saw your performance, got in touch and is offering you a job. Now, don't get too excited because it's for weekend performances only, but that's good, because it means you can continue doing your entertainment shows through the week. But, this is the part that requires you stay calm and listen. What they're looking for is, well, a men's room attendant. Now, bear with me, please. The reason being that the previous guy slipped on a wet floor, cracked open his skull, and sadly died. Now, don't poo-poo this, if you excuse the pun, because I've got a plan. Just bear with me, okay? Now, he explained they have a few things to deal with. First of all, of course, they need someone to keep the place clean. Secondly, a lot of his patrons have been asking for canned music to be played in the men's room, basically to muffle the sound of people, well, doing their business. In other words, having a crap. But lots of other folks are totally against the idea, saying that it sort of demeans the splendor of the place. And Steph, you should see it. Green marble floors, Venetian mirrors, French chandeliers. We're talking real fucking class here. Put it this way, it makes Donald Trump's bathroom look like a shithouse. So, he thought it would be a great idea if you, whilst doing the cleaning, sing some of that opera shit whenever you hear some disgusting sounds coming from the cubicles. Of course, you would have other duties like, well, checking the cubicles to make sure there was none of those transgenders or homos in there. You know what these operatic types are like, don't you? Now, I know and I realize you're not instantly going to like the idea, but this is my plan. after doing the job for a couple of weeks, I could arrange to get a Canadian newspaper to cover the story. Maybe the same paper that did a story on you and Christina before. Remember you were both exposed for, I think it was she was appearing on your show and she wasn't allowed to, and then you did the Joe Rogan show, remember, and you lied your ass off. Anyways, we get a reporter and a photographer down there. You do a short interview, and then they take a picture of you with a mop in your right hand and your left hand outstretched, your mouth open like you're singing, you know. And the headline could be "Men's Room Attendant Singing Drowns Out Mozart's Farts." You know how, using the name Mozart and turning it into most farts or something like that. You know how they love these catchy headlines. Then from that we could maybe get some TV coverage, chat shows and stuff, and who knows where it could lead after that. Look what I did for Louis Fellini and his talking dog. Jesus, they've got their own radio show now. You know, Steph, you've got over 600,000 subscribers, but the views you're getting don't reflect that, do they? In other words, I truly believe that when Trump gets his ass kicked out the door, and he will, you're gonna be struggling to stay afloat, my friend. And by the way, I couldn't help but notice that you haven't done a show on Trump for a long time now, which means that you're obviously aware that he's fucking nuts. Which is weird, because you being the smartest guy in the world, but once he goes, what are you gonna talk about? Steph, there's only so many times you can talk about God spanking, social justice warriors, women's vaginas chasing after resources, etc. Jesus. By the way, I saw the show you did on Winston Churchill. Man, that was fucking boring. And you got 491 dislikes. Steph, what are you playing at? Judging by the comments you get, your fan base are probably 70% kids who have never heard of Churchill and have no interest in him. You gotta think ahead, buddy. You gotta think about your old age and maybe devote some more time to your wife and kid. I got an idea. Why don't you do a show whereby you only show the title, but you don't actually appear? It could be entitled something like, "Why I Was Wrong When I Said I Was Wrong About Lots of Other Stuff That I Thought Was Wrong." Your confused teenage subscribers would probably spend so much time trying to figure out what the fuck you were talking about, they wouldn't even notice that you weren't there. And meanwhile, you've taken the family out to some safari park somewhere, and to hell with the expense. Okay, Steph, think about that job before fucking Alex Jones gets in there and beats you to it. Get back to me, okay? Ciao.